Yo, what up, street dogs? There, Kim. So the thought. I'm going to ASMR this. Isn't it so nice? Okay. So, all right. So the basic thought. What do you really want out of life? So this is kind of an interesting one. So, like, my very simple philosophy of life is this: only do what you care about, and don't do nothing you don't care for. So it's kind of more going towards this uber selfish approach, which means, you know, like sociologically speaking, we have enough division of labor that actually you don't gotta do nothing you don't really want to do. And the problem is, in modern society, we try to do all of it, right? It's just, you know, and then the new religion, the cult of productivity is our new religion, the cult of modernity. And the gist is, thou shalt only be virtuous if thou is always productive and makes more money and productive for productivity's sake. So now, why is this such a dangerous notion idea? The reason why this is so dangerous is this. If you do shit that you don't really care for, first, whatever you do, it's probably not going to be that good. And the second thing is, you're just going to you're going to live a sad, kind of miserable life. And for me, I'm all about the individual. I'm all about, you know, the individual thriving and stuff like that. And, you know, isn't life so much more valuable and meaningful when you only work on things that you personally care for and you don't work on anything that you don't care for? It seems like a very basic idea. And I think, okay, so, you know, I study sociology and stuff like that. And so one of my great goals in life is to advance society. Now, this is very abstract, but the general gist is, like, I love humanity and I love humans. And I also, like, you know, a lot of this is kind of like very selfish insofar much as I treat other people how I would like to be treated, which is not always effective. And I try to couple that with the silver rule of ethics: don't do unto others as you don't want others to do unto you, which means, like, I don't like it when people try to force me to do things X, Y, and Z against my own control. And similarly, like, I like it when people encourage my passions and when people encourage me in a positive affirmation way. Like, I do not believe in negative feedback and criticism for criticism's sake. To me, that's very, very toxic. And so I'm much more about, you know, promoting the individual, promoting positive thoughts and stuff like that. And so, you know, life is short, life is uncertain. Why spend any of it doing shit that you don't really kind of care for? And so this is more towards this, like, childlike approach of give yourself more freedom to indulge your childlike curiosities. And yeah, don't do none that you don't really care for. It's very simple. Now, what is the downside of this? You know, people, oh, you know, if everyone is just so selfish in society, society will fall apart and we'd all fall into moral degeneracy and decay. On the contrary, I don't know, I think this would actually really improve society because, you know, let every person go their own way, let them pursue what they care for, what they don't care for. And in terms of a political system, you know, politics meaning relating to the polis, like a city, like city philosophy. Yeah, maybe a society that's much more individualistic, a society that's much more like libertarian, that's focused on increasing individual liberty is a good one. I think Nassim Taleb calls it deontic libertarianism, deontic, D-E-O-N-T-I-C. It means duties-based. So it's still a society where there is kind of some sort of like inner sense of a duty that, like, the strong help the weak. So if you're extremely impoverished and you need help, you know, hopefully the strong will help the weaker. And I don't really, you know, I'm not a politician or a political scientist, so I don't know how that would be done, but maybe I could philosophize or think about that a little bit more. But anyways, like certain things which are essential in society, like peace and order. I don't want to live in a society which is violent, where people jack my shit and, you know, there's no consequences. I'm all about hygiene. I think hygiene is extremely important, especially, you know, through this whole COVID nonsense. So that means, you know, for everyone to have the opportunity to live in places where it's clean, it's hygienic, and actually like quietness is something that's actually really important too. So like even one thing that California did was pretty good, is like banning really loud cars. Like even here in Providence, Rhode Island, even though I love it to death, like there's way too many speed racers and it's quite loud at night, so I sleep poorly. And it seems that like in terms of even childhood development and also for adults, to live in societies which are more quiet seem better. So I really don't like these like loud sports cars and motorcycles. I mean, this is one of the biggest benefits of electric and Teslas and, you know, hybrid cars. I just like it that they're quiet. So maybe, I don't know, like a noise tax would be interesting. Is that like if you wanted to, you know, have a fucking loud ass car, maybe you had to pay a tax on it above a certain decibel system or whatever. Or maybe, I don't know, cars get pulled over for being too loud. I don't know, whatever it may be. But anyways, you know, and obviously I'm contradicting myself a lot because my personal background, studied sociology at UC as an undergrad. In terms of my individual thinking, grew up in the Bay Area, so definitely much more like, kind of like open-minded, liberal, left-leaning Democrat. But now, the way that the world's become such a bizarre place, I don't know what I identify myself as. But yeah, I really think that if we could create a robust dynamic system where everyone's allowed to just pursue their own needs and wants and desires, and it's not that like everyone gets like a big ass house and drives a BMW or a Mercedes or whatever. It's more like maybe we could opt for like a more Spartan aesthetic lifestyle where, you know, we could live like ballers on a budget. So even me eating 99 cents a pound pork or $1 a pound chicken, so essentially living like a poor person. However, having the creative freedom to say whatever I want, to share whatever I want, and publish whatever I want. So this is in praise of America, is our number one best asset. Certainly isn't our social security or social safety net. It's really a government that optimizes for individual liberty, which is something that I personally believe in. And yeah, so don't squander your individual liberties or your individual liberty. Say what's on your mind. Don't be scared. Better to opt the life of poverty and being poor and whatever, but to be free. So think about Diogenes the cynic, right? He said the greatest human desire or good was, you know, freedom of speech, to say whatever's on his mind. Even there's this apocryphal story, like, you know, kind of a made-up story probably, where, you know, Diogenes is just chilling, you know, laying in the sun, kind of like I am now. And Alexander the Great comes and it's like, Diogenes, if there's one thing I could bequeath unto you, what would it be? Diogenes is like, get out, my son. So it's a very robust way to live, and Diogenes is still kind of like one of the OG cynics, stoics, whatever you want to call them. So strive to live a much more carefree life, a much more open-minded life of more creative freedom. And when in doubt, just say what's on your mind. Don't censor yourself.